How does authentication work in single-page applications? That's an important question. For non-single-page applications, it works just as you learned it in all these traditional web development courses. You have a session which you manage with the server. Nothing special here. Not really related to Vue then. However, if we have a single-page application powered entirely by Vue, it becomes important to understand how authentication works. We still have a server and a client where our single application runs, the browser. Now, let's say a user logs in or signs up. We send that information, let's say for a login, to the server, and there we check if it's correct, if we do find a user with that password in our database. If that's the case, we send back some information, and traditionally, this would have been a session. Now, in single-page application, we work with RESTful APIs that are stateless, that don't care about connected clients, and that therefore don't manage sessions. So instead of a session, we receive a token now. The token then is stored on the server, and the token essentially is a very long string which can be decoded to a JavaScript object with some information about the user and, well, the validity of the token when it expires and so on. The token also is generated in a way that the server can always verify if it was created by him. So if the token was created on the server or if you're trying to fake a token. So that is not possible. So we then store this token on the browser on the front end, for example in the browser's local storage through the local storage API. This has nothing to do with Vue.js. Local storage is something we can simply access in the browser. And if we ever then request some data on the server from an API endpoint that actually requires us to be logged in, we simply send our request and we attach the token to it. So that we always have this token, which we can't fake, which can be validated on the server as an identification criteria we can pass on with our requests. Now, this token, which we store on the front end, is always only valid for a short amount of time for security issues. Though be aware that stealing it also isn't that trivial, since local storage can only be accessed from JavaScript and Vue.js prevents cross-site scripting attacks by default. But again, token is only valid for a limited amount of time, and this token then is what allows us to authenticate the user. Now we're going to see all these things in action, of course, in this module. This is how it works in theory. Now with that, let's dive in and let's make sure that we can actually authenticate a user.